The person the Alter Rebbe is addressing is suffering from Timtum Alev, partially because he feels superior to other people, right? It's this inflated ego of I'm holier than you, right? And therefore, it's keeping me stuck. Because as long as I'm holier than you, as long as I'm better than you, I don't need to work on myself, right? It's the idea of like, how do I make myself taller? I'll put you in a hole, and then I'm taller, you know? Okay, so it means I don't want to be authentic and honest with myself, and the ego is blocking the light, this truth of, wow, there's room for me to grow in my relationship with God. And it's much easier to put someone down than to raise myself up. The Alter Rebbe is helping this person realize that they shouldn't look down on those who don't turn away from evil, as neither do they, right? So I'm saying, okay, but these people are involved in sins. I'm not involved in sin, so of course I'm better than them. Let's see. Any intelligent person, love when the Alter Rebbe says that, because it's like, oh, I'm an intelligent person, I'm listening, okay, this must apply to me, like it warms you up. It's like, oof, okay. Any intelligent person can find areas in his life where he does not turn away from evil, sor me'ra, completely, whether an intense battle or a minor one. Okay, so remember, this is our own inner work. This is just between me and God. Only I can know the extent. Only me and God can know the extent of how much I'm really turning away from evil in my inner battles. So the Alter Rebbe is going to give us a few examples, such as stopping in the middle of an enjoyable but pointless discussion. Okay, so where I'm at right now, spirit. So let's say someone else turning away from evil might be not eating kosher, right? Dealing with an actual sin. So a person might feel like, well, I'm not dealing with that. But for them, where they're at in their avodas Hashem, because I can only serve God from where I'm at, right? I need to check my GPS of how I can connect right now, where I need to go. I can't go over and check someone else's GPS and where they're going, where they need to go. And no, I'm on my own journey. Life is not a competition. I'm on my own unique soul journey connecting to God. So for this person, even though the conversation's permitted, it's pointless, right? It's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, and it's not leading to anything positive or productive. And so sur me'ra, turning away from evil for them, means stopping that conversation or bringing it to a more elevated state. Another example, or to cease telling a negative story about someone, right? Now we're dealing with, something that's actually forbidden. Even if the negative content is slight and minuscule, and even though the negative content is true, and even when the purpose is not to speak negatively about the other person, but merely to demonstrate your own innocence, right? So it's just like borderline lashon hara, one of those situations. So the story here is Rabbi Shimon, obviously a sage, said to his father, or holy Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, okay, leader of his generation, like, whoa, okay? He said to Yehuda Hanasi's father, to demonstrate his innocence, he said, I did not write this problematic divorce document. Rather, Yehuda the tailor wrote it. And his father replied, keep away from lashon hara. Meaning, why was he coming to say this? Did he want to hurt Yehuda? No, he just wanted to prove his own innocence. That obviously there were some kind of problematic divorce papers, and it looked like Rabbi Shimon had written them, and he's claiming his own innocence. But his father's saying, for where you're holding right now, that's not it. Keep away from lashon hara. More important than to save your own grace and save your own name here is to do the inner work of not wanting to put that negativity onto another person. So if you're not feeling humble yet, we're bringing in a new tactic. Okay, the Alter Rebbe is really cleansing us from feeling superior to other people and therefore avoiding working on ourselves. And especially, you shall feel humbled about the shortcomings of the area of sanctify yourself through refraining from that which is permissible to you. Kaddish atzmacha b'muterlach. Kaddish is sanctify yourself. Atzmacha is yourself, but muterlach, and what's permissible to you, which is in fact a biblical requirement. Interesting. Where's it in the Torah? You should be holy because I, God, your God, am holy. Wow. Be like God. Just like I'm holy, make yourself holy. And you should sanctify yourself and be holy, for I am God, your God. And God's saying, I'm your God. God means Elohim. It means power. I'm giving you the power. I'm empowering you. Because I'm God, your God, you can do it. If you're just an animal, and if you're just living on base instincts and drives, fine. Say you can't sanctify yourself. But I'm God, your God. I'm holy, and therefore I'm empowering you as your God, as your source of power, that you can too. I was reading Shay's Tab's book, this idea of that, people love God as the all-loving God. But sometimes I need God's power in my life, right? If I want to overcome a habit, I don't need God's endless love. I need God's power, his might. I want to tap into that strength. And it's realizing that I'm God, your God, and I'm holy. If God's holy, I can be holy. And you can also find areas of rabbinic law in which you've been lax. We're going at it. And the words of the scribes are even more stringent than the words of the Talmud. So let's say this person's doing prohibitions from the Torah. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing some minor rabbinic prohibitions. No big deal. Alter Rebbe was like, it's a big deal, okay? The words of the scribes, of our sages, are even more stringent than the words of the Torah. Talmud Aruvin. Yet all these things and others are the sins which a person tramples under his feet and fails to take seriously, since these sins are now regarded as permissible, since they've been violated repeatedly, which is such a true idea. It's like, wow, like, I've done this sin so many times. Everyone does it. It's called business. Leave ethics out of it, you know? No. This is serious, and I need to take it seriously. And even though I've been taking it lax, just because I've been taking it a lax way doesn't mean it's lax. Just because I became habituated doesn't mean it's okay. And so Alter Rebbe is giving this hard, intense, much needed reality check of, wow, yeah, I really need to check in with myself. Which habits I've created that, even though at this point I just feel like habits, so they're fine, I'm hurting others, or I'm hurting my relationship with God, or I'm hurting myself.